Welcome to a sports betting podcast from pregame.com for the week of January 29th, 2010. I'm your host, RJ Bell. I'm joined by Marco D'Angelo, 30 years in the business, Vegas Runner, genuine professional bettor here in Vegas, star of the CNBC special on gambling. This is segment 3 of 6, big game preview, college basketball, Duke at Georgetown. Now, we do this a little differently. We tape on Thursday here, and what we're going to do is we're going to project the line on the game and then discuss it based upon that line, and if the line's off, that's a sign of where the value is. So, for example, in this game, VR first, what did you project the line to be?
I made Duke a 4-point road favorite, and I set the total of 141.
Okay, Marco, what do you project the line?
I have it at 3.5 for this game.
3.5?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so let's discuss it, because VR is the line. Whenever you two disagree, we're going to go with VR's line. Now, whenever you two disagree, if you disagree by a whole point, we'll actually split the difference.
Right.
Or more. If you disagree by a half a point, I guess I'll do the tiebreaker. I'm going to go with 4. So discussing the game is 4. VR, start off. What jumps out at you?
Simply Duke last night blew out.
So we're talking Wednesday night.
Yeah. I mean, Duke showed up and they played great defense yesterday. And although they haven't gotten any respect on the road, they're only 5-3 on the road. This is a big out-of-conference game for them against a ranked Georgetown team. So that's why I think this line, even though it might sound high, Georgetown a home dog getting 4, Duke just looked so good the other night. Last night, that I think I wouldn't be surprised if it came out 4 or even higher.
And what we probably want to do, guys, is let's discuss the nights not relative to today, but the day. So let's say Wednesday night or and that way it won't be so confusing. All right, so Wednesday night, Duke looked good. So what you're saying, though, to me, when I hear that, I'm thinking, okay, I want to go with Georgetown. If there's a national TV game in which Duke looks good, I'm thinking there's going to be a little inflation premium right there. That's where my first lean would be. Marco, what jumps out at you?
Absolutely. Perception-wise, people are going to buy back into the fact that Duke's back. Duke had a couple so-so games, but then they've been seen on national TV their last 2 games. Last Saturday night was the big ESPN.
Clemson.
The cameras were at campus all day at Clemson. That was the big game, and they came and just throttled Clemson. Everybody saw that Saturday night. They follow that up with Florida State on Wednesday night on ESPN again. So public perception is this is Duke that we have come to see.
That's why I said 4, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's even a little higher. Even though Georgetown's rested and they're 9-1 at home, I still think the stock is real high right now on Duke.
The problem that I had with this line was not Duke's lines, because I agree with you. The line's going to be pumped based on what Duke's done. Georgetown's game is the troubling game to analyze and break down. They played on Tuesday night, I believe it was Tuesday, against Syracuse. Actually, it was Big Monday. It was Monday night against Syracuse. They jumped out 14-0 to open the game and got throttled afterwards. I had Syracuse in that game, and I was like, oh my God, I was down 14-0, and then it was just amazing the way Syracuse absolutely shut them down. So the viewers, what do you take away from seeing such a disparity of a game where it changed so drastically? And will Georgetown have a carryover come Saturday? Fundamentally, Georgetown's the type of team that does give Duke problems. Duke is a finesse team. They like to shoot the outside shot. They don't bang it inside like they used to.
All right, so you're saying physical team, so fundamental matchup-wise, negative for Duke. You're saying Wednesday's performance on national TV at Duke that was positive is going to, and then 2 straight national TV performances that were positive. And as you always say, there's 2 ways a game matters more. One is if you see it, it feels more tangible, and number 2 is if you bet it, it feels more tangible. I can speak. I'm still pissed at the Saints after all the big bets I made on them, and clearly we're seeing that with the Super Bowl line is the way that people are overreacting to what they saw and what they bet, because we were sitting there at the Caesars, right? Oh, MGM. We were at. Geez, I'm like,
was you drinking?
It's like I always mix up Caesars and MGM. I guess it's the. I don't know why that that is. I always
Yeah,
do.
there's nothing similar there to me.
I always do for some reason. But it's almost like the rock star. It's like, hello Cleveland. It's like, no, you're in Columbus. It's like, but I'm sorry. The point is, when we were watching that game, even at halftime, the line opened up -3 flat, and it was bet all the way up to 140. It was all kind of Saints action. All the Saints people that didn't buy the half point are pissed off, and now you can see them all saying, well, screw that, I'm betting on the Colts.
Right.
Peyton Manning hasn't disappointed me lately.
I think exactly that's what it is. And myself, I'm leaning Georgetown for this game. If this line comes up above 4, which it very well may, I'd love the dog in this spot. I think it's a good spot for Georgetown. The problem with Georgetown is they're young and they don't use their bench at all. Even though they go 9 deep, it's all on the starters. They get absolutely zero production from their bench.
You're saying they have a deep rotation, but once they go past the top 5, it's a poor team.
Exactly. And I think having 4 days to prepare for Duke is the best thing that could happen for this team.
So they played Monday, which means that if they had played Wednesday, they'd be more tired.
Right.
Interesting.
So I think that's for this team being young, getting 4 extra days just to prepare for one opponent, which is a big opponent for them, probably their season.
All right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm making this my official free pick.
I knew that was coming.
Because I was looking another way, and now I am leading 2010. I don't want to make
You're ahead. I
don't want to make a big deal about that because it is only 2-1. But
67% ATS.
That's it. Big gold star. I'm actually 10-8 since the start of football. I haven't given one every week. I'm going to take Georgetown, hoping to get to 4.
I like it.
That's what we're projecting. I would suggest waiting as close to game time as possible. You're going to be getting Duke action. All right, we got 3 minutes, Marco. What else jumps out at you here?
You hit the nail on the head with the young team, and that's what we saw happen Monday against Syracuse.
They don't know they have to play a whole 40 minutes.
When that run happened, it's like that team almost looked like deer caught in headlights, and they'll have growing pains. But this is a note for later in the year. A young team like this that plays these type of tough out-of-conference games, that's huge
The
when you
6th
get to
toughest
March
schedule.
Madness.
This Georgetown team has so far the 6th toughest schedule in college basketball, and they're 15-4. So I mean, they play extremely well, but again, it's that experience factor, and you see late in the game they just don't know what to do yet, and I think that's been their biggest problem. Duke, this year they do have height. That's usually, like you said, they're an outside shooting team. This is the one year where they do have height inside, but Georgetown is an even bigger team, so I think that's going to take away a big advantage for Duke. They're playing a different style this year, even though they're putting up points. They're not that tenacious on defense. For a Krzyzewski coach team, I'm not impressed at all on them defensively. So I think Georgetown will be able to slow the game down. That's what they're going to have to do. They're not going to run with Duke and outscore them. But I think at home they'll be able to slow this game down. And the problem with Duke is they only get offensive rebounds. They don't get any defensive rebounds. But the strength of Georgetown is they're on the defensive glass. They don't let teams get second shots. And I think that's a huge advantage in what you need to beat Duke. So I really like that side here.
All right, well that makes me like it. Now, we got a minute here. You talk about strength of schedule a lot. Now, in the NFL, as much as that's important, the variation between the teams is modest.
Right.
In college, sometimes you'll have huge differences. So so we'll get into this as the weeks go by here in basketball.
I think it's
but
huge.
Specifically, Georgetown has played a very tough schedule.
Extremely strong, and you have to look at that in basketball because some of these teams might be 3-11 when the conference play starts, but they had the toughest out-of-conference schedule, and all of a sudden they're playing in the Missouri Valley or the Horizon League, and they built up so much experience playing that tough out-of-conference schedule. So you got to dig into that when you look at college teams.
And out-of-conference schedules.
Quickly.
You got to look at how they adjust to teams they don't normally see.
Right.
You could have a tough conference, but you see those teams twice a year.
Yeah.
And that's why teams that play tough out of conference do good in the tournaments.
Go Hoyas.
Okay. Good stuff. Next up, we're going to do another college big game preview. Remember, you can get all of our videos at pregame.tv, and you can actually win $100. Just comment in this comment section at YouTube, predict the exact score. You get $100 pregame dollars, no obligation, just free chance to make a comment and make a prediction. We'll be back.